Hello fellow RCA carriers. I'm going to show you a program called Hour Analyzer that I use to keep track of my time as I'm working with the post office. I'll describe the columns. First of all, you have your date, which is the date that you're going to be working, the day of the week. Route, which is the route you're going to be working on, or the job to perform, like Amazon parcels, Express, anything else you would do for the post office. Your route ID. This is what is coded on your check. It's not necessarily what you type in a route ID. When you type it in, this will automatically be filled in. You can't type in this block. Okay, time in, departed to route, return to route, and time out, and breaks in minutes. This is from your 4340, and you would fill it in just like you do your 4340. Although these two columns aren't necessary for the program to work, that's up to you whether you fill them out. Break in hundreds. This actually takes the time you type in the breaks and converts it to 100, so it can deduct it out your actual pay, which it'll add it back in here, because your actual time is what your shows on your paycheck, and it can be confusing if you got wait time in there with it. Your evaluated route time. This will be the route time where the route is evaluated at. In the bottom, I'll show you how we pre-enter all of that so that it fills it in for you. I'm using the one with in Homer. The people who work with me in Homer are using. So we'll cover that in just a minute. Your actual time. This calculates from the time entered. This tells you actually time in hundreds that you worked. Miles. You fill this in if you do anything where you use your vehicle other than running a route. If you run a route, that's EMA time. That's in a different program, and I'll show you that later. This is miles is like if you run Express or you run parcels or you go to school or anything else like that. Evaluated route day rate. This is what you get paid if you stay under 40 for that rate according to the rate evaluated time and your hourly rate. Actual day rate if over 40. This is what the route actually pays if you go over 40 hours. This comes in the 40-hour rule. Actual hour rate if under 40. This tells you how much you made per hour if you stayed under 40. If you go over 40, then this column means nothing because you actually go into overtime. This is a schedule. This is a column I put there so that you can type in your schedule after you go look at it or take a picture of it and then compare it to how you actually work. This is your pay rate. This is the pay rate for starting RCAs. If your pay rate's different, all you have to do is enter it in here. Once you enter it in this one, it'll carry over to each month after that. If you look at February, February has the same day rate. So if I go in and I type $21, February is going to change to $21. March will change to $21, and it'll continue on. The same thing with the mile rate. Anytime you type it into a month, all successive months will have that pay rate in there. 2610, that's the overtime rate, is 1740. You do not have to fill this out. It has a formula that automatically calculates that hourly rate, that overtime rate. Okay, pay period. This payday is not for this. This is from the last week, 2 weeks in December. It says pay period 26, and I probably should have put 2016 on there. Gross pay, your gross pay. This is what the program decides that you get paid according to the hours you made. It's these two columns would be added up, not in that one in particular, but in this one right here. Then you would take your online or your paper check stub, and you type in your gross pay from that check stub, and it would enter the difference in dollars right here and an hour difference. And if I show you a little spot where I did one right here, my gross pay on this pay period for 21 was $18.59.44 according to the program. According to my check, it was $18.59.31, a difference of 13 cents, 0.01 hours. I don't even worry about it if it's under 2 hours, hour and a half. That's up to you. Or an hour. If you find that they made a discrepancy, you can go to it and do that one. So we'll get into that more later. Let's show you how the program works. Let's say week 1 of January. You're scheduled to work Route 15. On Sunday, you got Amazon. On Monday, you have Route 7. On Tuesday, you're off. Because basically, as a RCA, you're going to work the heavy workload days, the Saturdays, the Mondays, the Wednesdays most of the time. and on Wednesday you're on Route 15 again because the carrier decided they wanted to take that time off. On Friday you're off. Thursday and Friday you're on. Friday off, and Thursday you run express. Friday you run express. All right. So first day, and I'm gonna go according to what it takes for me to run these routes usually. Okay. First day you type in 15. It's gonna automatically fill in your route ID. Next thing you can do is the start time for that route is 7:15 a.m. You type in 7:15 and you just hit enter or tab, and it's gonna put the AM for you. Anytime it's AM, it automatically puts it, but that's the default. You have to type in PM. Let's say I departed to the route at 9:45. Let's say I returned from the route at 2:45. I had to type the PM. I hit enter. It's going to put it in caps. Program needs that to be able to do. As you can see right now, it already entered our 8.6 hours for evaluated rate time, and I'll show you how to do that, how it does that. Right now I'm at -7.5. That's simply because I haven't added my end time. Okay, I left at 3:10. All right, and I took a 10-minute break. Now to type the break in, you got to do an hour-minute format. 10 minutes would be 0 hours, colon, 10 minutes. Enter. Okay. Now, just for sake, I'm going to say I had to wait 15 minutes. Let's say 30 minutes for packages because it was a late truck. I would type in the same format, 0 hours, 30 minutes. Now if you watch the 775, it's going to change. It now becomes 725. It took a half hour out, but it added it back in down here, which is 7.75. So we're going to go back and take that out for right now. All right. Now I told you, I explained to you about I'm going to explain to you about these evaluated route rate. So now if I work this route, and that's what I did, and I stayed under 40, this would be my pay for running that route. This would be my actual pay if I go over 40 for running that route, 134.85. There's a difference. This would be what I make per hour if I stay under 40, because it's 775, and this would be my rate. This would be what I made per hour. Now let's take a real quick look at this evaluated rate. This is something you have to enter into the program for it to do it for you. I have all the routes from the home listed, 1 through 16, and we have 81, 82, 83, 84, 91, 92, and 93. According to the 4340, these are the evaluated times for the routes. You type this in, and then you type in the evaluated route, and that's the last you have to type them in. The program automatically is going to enter them in up here. So we work Amazon. This is where I'm going to show you where the code change. You type A, it's going to put Amazon in for you. Amazon on your paycheck is registered as 991. Okay, so what happens is on a 991 you wouldn't see Amazon, so you need to know that. Amazon goes to work at 9 o'clock. Basically, we don't take a break unless say I'll finish at 2:30 p.m. Alright, I got 5.5 hours. If you notice, there's no evaluated time. So when I type in Amazon, it automatically carries my actual time over to the evaluated route so that it can calculate your hours. And if you notice right now, I work 2 days. I have 26.75 hours left before I reach my 40. Now 40 is where the 40-hour rule comes in. So now we at 14.10 is my my hourly my rate, my hours so far, and it comes out to be this price. My actual time is here, but I would actually get paid at 2:45 because I stayed under 40. All right, let's do Route 7. All right, Route 7 doesn't is evaluated at 8.6 also. Now Route 7 comes in at 7:15 also, but I don't run Route 7 that often, so it takes me till, we're on a Monday, it takes me till 11:45 to get ready. I don't return till 4:15, and I'm out of there after doing, it should be a PM, and I don't get out of there till 4:45 after doing the case, and I took a 10-minute break. Alright, now you'll see that its evaluated route is 8.6 I ran a 9.3. If I stay under 40, that's my actual day rate. If over 40, I get 8.62. If I stay under 40, I get this day rate. All right. And my hourly rate drops because it took me longer to run a route than what I actually pay if I stay under 40. All right. Now I'm at 2.258 actual hours. That's what I actually worked, and that's what these hours go off of. That's 17.42. Okay. The next day I'm off. You type in O, it'll type in off. Now it's important that you type in off because down at the bottom it counts your days off, and it only can count them if you do off. It counts your days worked for the total for these two pay periods. That would be 1 and 2. And down here it goes by the week. It'll count how you work and days you work, 3 so far, and then your total for the 2 pay periods. All right. Now Wednesday, we scheduled to do 15. We do 15 again. Wednesday we get newspapers. I'm in at 7:15. Wednesday's a rough day. I don't get out till 12:15. I get back around 5:30, and I get out of there at 5:45. I take a 10-minute break. All right, now I ended up with 8.6. I have 10.3 hours work time. So my actual time is 32.92. My pay rate is my route time is 31.30. I'm going to get paid to 31.30, which is 544 over the 572, and that's because I worked the busiest days, the hardest days to work, and I'll do the easy days next week to show you the difference. All right, my next Thursday, that's off. Now, looking at the thing, I can tell you right now that I got 7.08 hours left. I'm going to show you 2 scenarios, and this is why the program is really good. All right, I'm scheduled to work Express. Express is coded as a 998 on your paycheck. Express comes in at 10 a.m. No break or lunch, and I finish at 2:30. All right, I end up with a week for a total of 35.858 hours evaluated time. That's what I get paid. I actually work 37.42 hours. I don't get paid this. There's a difference there. This is my actual time, so I actually didn't quite earn $17.40 an hour. Well, I did earn $17.40, but not more. I got 2.58 hours left to run. Now, let's go back and change our schedule, and let me show you something. We're going to back up just a bit, and we're going to change our schedule to the opposite. This will be Express. This will be off. Okay, we're going to do the same exact scenario. Express 998 10 2:30. All right, we're back down to the 2:58. All right, so right here we've worked 37.42 hours. We actually work more hours than we have evaluated rate time. So let's say a supervisor calls you and says, I need you to run Express. Right here, because of what you have, this 2.58, and you know that it takes about anywhere from 3 to 5 hours to run Express, you want to tell them yes, because let me show you what happens here. You type in Express, you go in at 10. Express is kind of light, so you finish at 1:30. You made 3.5 hours. Notice your pay has changed. You went from $683.82, $719 for actual. You got paid the actual. You made a actual $36.11 extra over what you'd have made by working just these hours. So the reverse can also happen, because let's show you, let's say right here, this route, we're actually pretty good at running that route Wednesdays light, and we get out of there at 10:30. and we finish at 2:30, which I've done before. I wanted 2:30, and we get out of there at 2:40. All right, same break time. Now, if you notice, we didn't break that 40. We got 2 hours and 17 left, and just for argument's sake, let's change this to route 4, because route 4 is rated at 9 hours. And let's change this to route 4, and we did it in that time. All right, now our actual rate's over 40, and our out rate is over 40, and our actual rate's under 30. Because we stayed under 40, it says under 40. Because we stayed under 40, we get paid the higher rate, which is this one, which is a difference, if you look at it, of about $40. So, and there can be huge variances in that, because I've run a route in 54 hours. 6 days I ran the route, and it evaluated at 54 hours. I ran it in 37, and I got paid to 54, and that's a huge difference. Okay, so that's a general makeup of how the program works. Okay, let's go back and change this to what it was, and this one to what it was. And as you notice, as I change everything, my evaluated route changes. If I run route 3 here, it goes to 8. If I run route 2, it goes to 7.6491, goes to 8.492, goes to 9.2. All of these are pre-entered by you right here, and if you type it in, it'll take care of the rest. Now, if you go back and you look at your month in review, well, let's do that in a minute. All right, so it calculates this. Now it takes this pay, whichever one you're paid, one of the two, which it calculates, and it puts it in your gross pay column. So this is what you have so far in your for payroll 1. Now let's say you come in and you're on 15, and you're on Sunday you're off because your carrier decided they're on vacation. So that your supervisor schedules you to work all 6 days, because you can make the time in under 40. And I tell you what, let's do it as route 4 to show you what I've done already. All right, first day you run route 4, which is a Saturday. You get in at 7:15. We're going to skip these because you know that they already worked, just to show you that they work. You're back at 2:30. Take a 30-minute break. All right, Sunday you're off. Monday, it's a heavier day. You're in at 7:15. You're back at 4:10. Take a 30-minute break. Tuesday's a light day, which it usually is. And at 7:15, but you're out at 1:50. And that should be a PM. Wednesday, heavy day, newspapers as usual, but not as heavy as normal. Go on vacation. And you get out of there at 3:15. All right, 30-minute break. 30-minute break. You now have 11.25 hours to make sure you run a route. So we're going to do two scenarios here. First of all, Thursday's a good day, but you're unable to do it in the time you'd like, and it takes you to 245 to complete your route. Now you're down to 3.75 hours. This is when you want to go to your supervisor and you just say, look, I'm at my 40. I can't work tomorrow. Because if you work tomorrow, and even if you do it in 5 hours, I'm going to show you the difference. That's 783. $7.15, $12.15. You went over 40. This is where you have your issues, and this has happened to many RCAs already. You lost $210.98 because you're going to get paid $7.28, which was less than, if we go back, I'll show you, $7.28 is less than the $7.83. Now, let's say that Thursday was a light day and you did it in 5 hours. And then the next day you did it in 6. All right, you're 0.25 hours under. Look at the difference in your pay. You have 54 hours actual route evaluated time. I've done this a couple times. 39.75. Your pay is $9.39 because you didn't break 40. But had you broke 40, had you went right here just 15 minutes more, or let's say 16 minutes more, you broke 40. I need one more minute. Well, let's do it 40 because you're not going to put escape. Or let's say you took a 20-minute. Let's do this. Not good. Say you only took a 20-minute break back this way. Anyway, you'll get an idea. All right, let's say you went till 2:10 p.m. You broke 40 by 7.17. 939 is what you evaluated route time. 700 is what you're going to get paid because you broke 40 by 0.17. Had you kept this under 40, you'd have made a 939. That's where the program really shows you where you need to watch your time, where you need to make your time, where you need to do it. Now, at the bottom, your month in review. This will tell you you worked 12 days and you had 2 days off so far. One here, you worked the rest of the week. It'll also tell you where you made the most money at. Being Route 7, let's change Route 7. Alright, it tells you your top 4 routes. And being you only got 3 routes, it tells you your bottom one twice. But as you go, you do more. It means you made, on Route 4, you made 939. Route 2, you made here. Okay, right here it shows you your top paying, your second highest paying, third highest paying, and your fourth highest paying. Which shows you that Route 4 you made the most, Route 92 the second most, Route 15, and then Route 8. It shows you your total pay here. Now, On Express, we didn't enter miles. When you run Express, you usually use your own vehicle. So let's say you ran 35 miles one day and 28 the second. What this does is it takes your miles and it calculates it down at the bottom. It calculates your miles down at the bottom, and it shows you how much you made for those routes. So you did 63 miles for this week, 40.95. Down at the bottom, it keeps track of your miles, and then it breaks it down by week. So there's your total miles right here. You used them on Express. Now, if you did miles other than Express, it would not go into the Express column. It would only add into the total here. Like, let's say you ran parcels. Let's do a parcel run. All right, 999 is what parcels are. You type in 9 and you finished at 5 or 4 o'clock. You had 7 hours and your mileage was 62. 62 miles would go here and 40. Now, if you notice, your miles are not added into your total gross pay. This is your total gross pay of these 2 weeks combined, because post office and the government doesn't take taxes out. It's not added in till the end, so it's kept separate. So I keep it separate. You notice your mileage is going up to 125, but Express stated only 63, and that's the way it should be. Over here you have your Express, how much you made and how much with mileage. Right here you have how many hours you worked on Amazon and the price, what you made. Right here, week 1 you worked Route 8 once, Route 15 once, Route 92 once. In Route 2 you worked Route 4 6 times, and it gives you total per the month, and it shows you your hours on each that you spent on each route per week. And this will change. This is evaluated time, but it will change if it goes to overtime. Now that becomes important, and I'm going to show you why. If you go to overtime, you're going to have, the reason it's calculated like that, you're going to have a paycheck that shows a 2-week total, and that's right here. And your 2-week total, let's take 16.67. I told you it wasn't coded the same. Look at it. That's a 991. I'm sorry. That 991, that is Amazon. Okay, it is coded, and it's Amazon up here. So if you look at this Amazon, look right here where it says Amazon, you'll see it's 16.67, exactly what that is. If you look across, you'll see 991. That's Express. If you go find Express, either here, once you learn the codes, or if you go up top and you look at the actual code for Express, 998. I'll go back and change that. Okay, if you look at Express, it's 998, so that you go over here to 998, you follow it across. You pay us 3.25, and you go to the bottom and you follow Express to that week. It's also 3.25, so that you can compare your check. 15.83 here is 15.83 here in the program, and that's Route 15. If you would scroll across, you would see that Route 15 is 15.83. 5.75 would be here, Route 91. It should match what this one is, Route 91, 5.75 hours. All right, 4.25. I have 3.75, which is here. And that's how you compare your checks to your check stub. Now, when you get the program, if there's any questions, You'll have my email on there, and you can ask all the questions you need. Um, it's hard to cover it all in one video. I have multiple tools so that you can tell what you're doing and you can keep track of it. But that's the basic part of the program. When you order the program, which you can order from eBay, I'll send you a disc, and the disc currently has 4 programs on it. You're only going to use one. The difference in the programs is you have Premium EMA, which I'm going to go over in a minute, Premium EMA 64, Premium, and Premium 64. All that means is the Premium's a 32-bit, and Premium 64 is a 64-bit. If you use your vehicle to run routes, and you run routes regularly in your vehicle, you want the EMA, and I'll show you that one in a minute and the difference. If you're just running like I do, using postal vehicles, you want the Premium and a Premium 64. Now, if you don't know which program you have, 64-bit or 32-bit, it's really easy. You just click on one of them, and it's going to show you this. A 64-bit version of Excel is required, but you have a 32. So all you do is you close that out and you click on the other one. It's going to come up and it's going to show you the system ID. You need to email this system ID so that you can have your activation code. You have to have Excel for this program to work. And this program locks it out from being copied and pasted and given away. So basically what it does is you're going to send me an ID and you can use it only on that one computer. And I'll send you the activation code. All right. You can buy it on eBay. Let's look at the EMA analyzer and the difference. If you notice, after actual time, it has EMA trip step code, which is how it's listed on. It's listed as step code on your online version, and trip step on one and code on your paper version, or vice versa. Your EMA pay is shown to the side, and I'll show you that right now in a paycheck stub. Okay, first we'll look at the online version. On the online version, it's G3. It's called a step. Okay, and this is how they code it, and this is what they would pay you. On a paper stub, it's called a code, G3 E46. That's where it's found, and it tells you the type of whether it's a government supplied vehicle, your supplied vehicle, or whatever, and then it'll tell you the price. So let's look at the online one. G43 is $29.80. So to use this program, what you would do is you would go to the first month in the cycle, and you would type what that said. What was it? G30. Okay, what you do is you go to step and you would go to the first month in the deal, because it'll carry over to each month, and you would type for G48 or the G43 $29.80. Alright, from that point on, when you run that route, whichever that route is, and you notice a G43, you would type G43 in, and it would fill in your miles. Let's say you get a G. Let's see what else we have here. T46, which is 32.34. and you run that route, you type in T46 and would automatically fill in your time. Okay, if you look at it and you type in T43, which it should have been another G, T46, these come off your paycheck stub. It types in it automatically fills in the mileage for you or your EMA pay. You don't have to go any further than that. Then it calculates your EMA pay right here. Now this right here is for EMA pay plus mileage, because both, remember, those pay are kept separate in your check. So if you ran express the following day and you ran 36 miles, you would get $23.40, and that would add to your total here. Then when you go down to the bottom, it calculates it by the week. Week 1 you made $91.94 in EMA pay and $23.40 in miles. And that's the only difference between the EMA program and the other program. Now, one other thing we're going to cover is the month of December. December is a strange month in the post office for RCAs. And it's strange because you get paid two different ways. The first week of the pay period, which is 25, which is usually part of November, you actually, if you look at December, December is a different month simply because the post office pays you two different ways in December. You also get a pay raise, and this is the calculated one. Don't mean it's going to be correct. This is just what I'm tried. So what you want to do is you want to notice that your first week and the pay period of 25 is just like all the other weeks. But then you start guaranteed pay here. Now guaranteed pay is different, and it's different in the fact that if you run a route that's evaluated, let's say Route 15, evaluated 8.6, and you run it in 12 hours, you're going to get paid 12 hours. If you run it in 7 hours and you go over 40, you're going to get paid 7 hours. The only real difference in the guaranteed time where it comes in is, and you have to change this yourself, is down here, auxiliary routes. Auxiliary routes get paid nothing. There's no evaluation time whatsoever. So you have to, you actually have to physically go in and type in, and I'm going to fix that. You have to type in the evaluated route times and then 0.00 for auxiliary routes, because the way the formula is set up, if you run an auxiliary route, 14 is an auxiliary route in our deal, it's going to show 5.67. And it shouldn't show anything because that's in the wrong week. So let's go into another week. It shows 0. But once you type your time in and you run a route and you're out at 2 o'clock, you got 6 hours. But it's an auxiliary route. They run those routes in 11 hours. I mean in 3 hours. So this is where you have to be careful, because you're going to get 3 hours. And that's what you're going to get. Okay, and if you notice, it shows 0 time. You're guaranteed pay. These are the hours you're going to get paid, and they go according to a 40-hour rule plus a larger rule, which means if you run it over the evaluated time, you'll get that time. And that's basically the only difference. It's still the 40-hour rule applies if you're able to run the route in less time, but generally you can't because you have so many parcels it doesn't matter. So it comes close to running like a regular month, all except that if you run an auxiliary route that may not get many packages, you're going to lose time if you run it and under the evaluated time. That's because that's all you're going to get is what you run it. Okay, let's cover a few of the common mistakes that happen in the program. You type your route, you type your time in, you get a value sign. You get a value sign simply because that AAM has to be separated. All right, and it's the same thing for the PM. If you don't type space PM, you're going to have a problem. If you strike paste, periods, PM, any other format, it's going to say value. If you hit value, basically you need to type the times you posted in. Same thing in your break time. If you don't hit the colon properly, you're going to get a value sign. And basically that your break would be like that. You just go back and correct it. It's basically all you do. Wait time's the same problem. It has to be in that format. It changes and it tells you made an issue. So value means you just made a problem typing it in. It can't calculate it. And that's basically how the program works. That's the basics. Any questions, you can contact rcaruralrules@gmail.com, and you can send me any questions you have. Thank you for watching.